Hey guys, we're back to the Ringgit My Way podcast. I am Bryan Low and also our amazing guest.
Hi everyone, my name is Xuan. I'm the founder of personal finance blog nomoneyla.com.
Hi everyone, my name is Jeon and I'm a full-time mom with 2 kids.
Today, we're discussing about a term that is interesting enough to know. Has anybody heard of this word called sandwich generation?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think this term has been quite hot among especially young people these days.
Right.
Yep.
So basically, for your information, sandwich generation means whoever, or the earners that we say in today's day and time, right, who are caught in raising their children at the same time taking care of their elderlies in their family.
I can feel myself as a ham inside of the sandwich.
Okay.
So for the term sandwich, I feel like I'm stuck in the middle of between kids and also my own parents. So sometimes it's really hard to balance out my own time and our finance between our elderly and also our kids.
For me, I fortunately or unfortunately do not have a kid yet. But for me, I've always been in the finance side of things, right? So that also forced me or motivated me to actually plan accordingly, even I don't have any such issues right now.
Did you guys set aside any money for your parents as well?
Yes, I actually do. I mean, here's the thing about aging parents or retirement, right? So to say for seniors, a lot of people, when they plan their retirement, they sort of plan in the phase where, 60-year-old when they retire until maybe 60, 70, they sort of plan in the mind that they are going to be healthy forever, they can travel. But a lot of people, when they do planning for retirement, right, they don't take into account of, what if someday I'm not able to take care of myself, especially with my late grandmother's about 2-3 years ago, when she really cannot take care of herself. It was difficult because when my late grandma, she lived until 80 plus years old and required special care, my parents and my relative, right, were caught off guard. So as an example, about this time last year, my dad, while he was jogging as usual, he suddenly collapsed. And later on, doctor found out that his heartbeat isn't what it used to be anymore. So the conclusion was, doctor said, hey, you need to install a pacemaker to help your heart to beat as usual. So I was lucky that I'm able to use my credit card to pay off the pacemaker device. So seeing that happen to my parents and my late grandparents, right, it sort of got me to think, okay, what can I do, right? Even if I don't face the issue right now, what can I do right now? Right? Time is in my side, so what can I do? So I started to invest or allocate funds every month to all this thing, right? So that when my parents do come to a point in time where they do require special care, at least we are financially prepared and ready. Yeah. Basically, it's just risk management. Insurance for your parents, insurance for kids, so that when things happen, right, it doesn't put a hole in your wallet.
I think it's both sides. Like you have to pay for your kids and also you pay for your parents. But for the kids wise, I didn't expect the expenses nowadays can shoot so high up, starting from the moment you get pregnant. Insurance, labor costs and confinement. Confinement cost is really, very high nowadays.
So JD, just a question, right? What is 1 or 2 costs or expenses that caught you off guard?
First, when I got pregnant is confinement. For example, we had this amount in our mind, okay, maybe 10K is enough. And then we go and ask for the price, right? Then we're like, it's doubled. And then the second thing I think is medical costs for my daughter, like the vaccine and everything. Like what I mentioned is the kindergarten, the preschool fees. Yeah, that's the main expenses right now. Yeah.
Did your family's financial decision that you see in the past affect how you plan your finances as well?
Wow, this really affects me a lot. I think when you come from a unplanned family, you tend to become a very mindful person, a very planned person. So I would actually record at a book. And every time when I save the money, right, I'll put in a place that I won't see it.
Out of sight.
Yeah, out of sight. So I won't spend it, right?
Like, what about yourself? Do you plan your parents' funerals before time?
We don't talk about this, right? Especially for my grandparents, late grandparents, right? What they say is that, hi, you want to talk about this? You want us to die earlier? So here's the thing, a lot of them don't prepare for this until something happens. So my parents, right, until when my late grandfather passed away, only they think about, okay, maybe we should do this, so that when something happens to us, right, our children will not be caught off guard. A few years ago, I started to write. I already written a view for myself. If I die, what would happen? If I die, what my assets will go to who? So that's something that I did as a way to ensure that my assets go to my loved ones when something does happen. And what happens if you don't, right? If you don't have if you don't have a will, right? Is that on the legal side of things, right, we'll need to go through what we call a probate process. You go through court, so to say, once you pass away, your assets will be frozen. All right, then you go through the legal probate process, right? And then you gotta get a letter of administration or something, if I recall it correctly, LOA from the court. Then once you go through everything, baru your assets is unfrozen and give to your loved ones. But if you have a will, okay, if you have a will, right, then the whole process is much shorter, right, much easier. But for now, for the purpose of this sharing, right, enough to say that if you want to plan, right, you sort of plan it as early as possible, especially once you have dependents.
Question, Jeon, how did you even come up with the idea or the thought of wanting to write will at the age of 28?
I engaged a financial planner myself. So what my financial planner or my mentor tell me that, hey, maybe you should think about this. When we have all these assets, when something happened to us, right, we pass away, we get total permanent disability or TPD, right? Then what will happen to the assets?
Give us a 30-second masterclass on how to plan our own finances.
I would say the first and foremost, the simplest thing is to do an emergency fund, right? Basically, the rule of thumb is 3 to 6 months of your everyday expenses. Once you have all this sorted out, okay, then start investing. The whole idea when it comes to financial planning is to build the routine, build the system. Just put whatever you have, then slowly you grow.
Tell us one advice to the young generation, or we call it Gen Z, that's gonna soon start a family.
Expect the unexpected, I would say. But just try your best to do something, just something, whether it's financially, mentally, physically. Because when you have kids, I wouldn't say it's just about financial. I would say it's more about mental and physically as well.
You just got to have confidence in yourself that whatever happens, right, you and if you have a partner, you and your partner have what it takes to solve the problem together.
Thanks for coming, guys. We've learned so much from you. Stay savvy with Alliance Bank, the bank for life.
Alliance Bank, the bank for life.